Here's why investing your money via eToro could cost you thousands in the future. In fact, in the examples we'll look at, using eToro could mean that you miss out on almost £800,000 over a 40-year investing period. And these calculations don't even take into account their fees. However, there are times where using eToro becomes more viable, but let me explain everything. The first and biggest reason why you shouldn't invest with eToro is because they don't offer a stocks and shares ISA for you to invest within. The benefit of a stocks and shares ISA in the UK is that you don't have to pay any capital gains tax on money you earn from investing, as long as you're staying within the ISA limits. Because eToro doesn't offer the option of investing within an ISA, you'd have to pay capital gains tax on your profits, an outcome that can potentially be completely avoided. Now, we're not saying that investing with eToro is bad per se, more that there are just mathematically better ways to use your money. I mean, let's put it this way. Would you willingly pay tax on your shopping from Asda if Tesco were offering the same shopping tax-free? Probably not. So let's dive into the numbers. To emphasize how much money you could potentially be losing out on by investing with eToro and other platforms that don't offer ISAs, we ran some numbers. We started by roughly estimating your returns if you invested your money into a stocks and shares ISA for 40 years, taking someone from 18 or their early 20s to near retirement age. Stocks and shares ISAs have an average yearly return of around 9.64% over the last 10 years. Some years over that time period may have seen it return much less, and some much more, depending on the state of the economy at the time. That 9.64% annual increase is completely tax-free and compounds in value. Compounding is the process in which you earn returns on top of your previous returns, and it goes up exponentially over time. So for the calculations we ran on investing inside a stocks and shares ISA, we started off by investing the full £20,000 allowed in our ISA limit using the previously mentioned average return of about 9.64% per year. Then we left that money in there without adding any extra investment, and here's what we found. In year 1, you'd gain £1,928, meaning that you'd go into year 2 with a balance of £21,928. After 10 years, you'd have compounded that investment all the way up to over £50,000, which is over £30,000 in tax-free profit without putting a single extra penny into the ISA. Then after 40 years, using the same numbers, your initial £20,000 investment will be worth around £793,000. Of course, another disclaimer, all of these figures are based on past performance, which cannot be used as a reliable predictor of future performance. We then ran the same experiment investing outside of an ISA, and this is what we found. After 10 years, you would pay an unnecessary £5,440 in capital gains tax, if you decided to realise your gains at this point, but that's just the start of things. If you decided to cash out at 20 years, you would pay a total of £20,602 in capital gains tax. And at 40 years, that figure reaches a crazy £154,189. We then ran the experiment a second time, but this time we invested £10,000 per year instead of a one-off £20,000 investment. This time round, at the 40-year mark, there's a total difference in value of nearly £800,000, and that doesn't even factor in any trading, FX, or withdrawal fees. Now, we want to address the elephant in the room, which is that eToro technically do offer an ISA, but it's not quite what you'd expect. eToro offers the ability to invest inside a stocks and shares ISA via an integration with another broker, Moneyfarm. And while this is certainly a step forward, it comes with a couple of big catches. Moneyfarm takes almost full control of your investment, not allowing you to choose the stocks or funds that you want to invest in manually. You're simply allocated a fund based on your risk level. If you invest via eToro, you're probably wanting to pick your own investments, as that's what people do primarily on that platform. But you can't do that here. Interestingly, you can do it if you sign up with Moneyfarm directly, so this must be a part of eToro's deal with them. We offer your ISA, but any individual stocks and shares purchases must be done on our own platforms. Also, Moneyfarm's fees are quite substantial compared to many of the other leading brokers. For example, Vanguard, who are somewhat of an expensive broker compared to the other options out there, charge you a 0.15% platform fee to trade using their services. Whereas if you want to invest £20,000 with Moneyfarm, you'd be paying a 0.65% fee, which is over 4 times higher. Aside from benefits like the social feed and ability to copy trade and other things like that within eToro, there are actually 2 main reasons why you would still consider eToro to invest outside of an ISA. Number 1, you're not based in the UK, so you don't have access to ISAs, and you're not based in another country with a similar tax wrapper offering. And number 2, you've already used up your annual ISA deposit limit, which would be quite rare considering only 55% of Brits have an ISA and only 7% of those people hit the ISA limit each year. This problem isn't exclusive to eToro though. There are other very large platforms in similar positions, such as Robinhood and many more. They're probably just the biggest of the bunch.